Good day, everyone. Today we will be discussing Republic Act 7076, also known as the People's Small Scale Mining Act of 1991. This law aims to regulate small scale mining operations in the Philippines while ensuring environmental protection and sustainable economic benefits for mining communities. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore its key provisions, implementation successes, challenges, and the impact of compliance and violations on the environment, economy, and public health. Republic Act 7076, or People's Small Scale Mining Act, refers to mining activities that rely heavily on manual labor using simple tools and methods, which does not require explosives or heavy mining equipment and requires only small capital investment. RA 7076 was enacted with several key objectives. First, it seeks to legalize, regulate small scale mining to provide miners with a structured and lawful way to conduct their operations. Second, it ensures environmental sustainability by providing safety regulations, technical assistance, and social benefits. Finally, the law aims to curb illegal mining activities, which often lead to environmental degradation and unsafe working conditions. RA 7076 provides features such as identification, segregation, and reservation of certain mineral lands, recognition of prior existing rights and productivity, the extension of assistance in processing and marketing, the regulation of small scale mining industry, the generation of ancillary livelihood activities, the efficient collection of government revenues. For the designation process, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources is tasked to declare specific lands as small scale mining areas. This aims to centralize operations in regulated zones. These areas, or ecological characteristics, its existing land use, and the presence of indigenous communities are assessed to balance mining activity with environmental conservation and community rights. Through this, establishing mining zones creates clarity and helps prevent unregulated mining in ecologically sensitive and disputed areas. To ensure compliance with RA 7076, the law establishes the Provincial City or Mining Regulatory Board. This provincial city is the one tasked to issue permits, monitor operations, and resolve disputes between authorities. Under RA 7076, small scale miners must meet several legal requirements to operate. They must secure permits from regulatory board, adhere to safety standards, and implement proper waste disposal methods. Miners are also encouraged to form cooperatives or associations to ensure accountability and ease of regulation. These groups receive training on responsible mining practices such as mercury free extraction methods. By following these legal requirements, small scale miners can operate safely and contribute positively to the local economy without causing harm to the environment. Mining contracts includes registered cooperatives which can apply for small scale mining contracts that is authorized to them to mine in specific areas. Contracts are limited to 20 hectares per cooperative. These contracts also have a 2-year renewable upon the recommendation for PCMRB. Miners may also enter into co-production, joint venture, or mineral production sharing agreement. Provisions also for the protection of the environment are provided, ensuring that the areas of the activity within the contract are maintained in clean and organized manner, with a schedule of the tailings and waste management and mine site rehabilitation is documented in the approved mining plan. Also, miners must take responsibility for the control and proper disposal where applicable of all waste produced as a result of mining operations. Miners will also comply with all the environmental laws, especially with respect to water quality, water course diversion, excess siltation, and undue interference with existing agricultural fishing. For the workers' health and safety, the RA also provides for adequate sanitation facilities in the form of non contaminating latrines. Also, to take responsibility for the health and safety of all individual contractors, or employees operating within the contract area, and ensure that the use of mercury, cyanide, or any other poisonous substance is handled in accordance with the provisions directed by DENR. Notify PMRB, CMRB within 5 working days of all accidents causing either death or more than 5 days of working time. So its interaction with public, private, ancestral land rights. For public lands, mining on public land is permitted, but miners must follow guidelines to avoid environmental damage or unauthorized use. For private lands, miners need to secure written consent from the landowner before engaging in mining operations. This provision aims to protect private property rights. For the ancestral land, mining on ancestral land requires the free, prior, and informed consent of indigenous communities in accordance with the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act. This provision safeguards the cultural heritage, traditions, and land rights of indigenous peoples.
Ownership rights. According to Section 2, Article 7 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, all natural resources, including minerals, belong to the state. Perhaps small-scale miners own the minerals they collect and can process them individually or with permission. Mandatory sale to the central bank. A percentage of the proceeds all goes back to the miners and their cooperatives. The BSP offers fair pricing to small-scale miners, protecting them from being victimized by black market customers. Under RA 11256, it was stated that the BSP tax exemption on gold sales promote legitimate transactions and help miners. Revenue sharing. Mining revenue is shared with the government and LGU to fund public services, infrastructure, and community development projects. Mining contracts ensure miners pay their fair share for using natural resources. Safety and Protection Fund. 50% of the government's revenue share is set aside to establish a small-scale mining safety and environmental protection fund, which finances the emergency and disaster responses, health risks, environment rehabilitation, and training programs. Compositions. The diverse membership of DENR, LGU, and minor cooperatives ensures that different stakeholders are heard and involved in decision-making. Responsibilities. Regulation and monitoring ensure that small-scale miners follow the law and adhere to safety and environmental regulations. Penalties for violations. Miners who violate the Act can face 6 months to 6 years in prison and the confiscation of mining equipment. Violations include unlawful mining, environmental harm, and failing to comply with registration requirements and safety rules. Repealing clause. Any old laws that conflict with RA 7076 are repealed, ensuring that small-scale mining is governed by a modern, unified framework. Separability clause. If one part of the Act is found unconstitutional, the rest of the law remains valid. This safeguards the law's core principles. Lastly, effective clause. The Act became enforceable 15 days after its publication in the official gazette or a newspaper of general circulation. With these provisions, we complete the journey from the Act's purpose to its implementation, enforcement, and impact on small-scale miners, communities, and environment. This comprehensive approach aims to strike a balance between economic opportunity, environmental sustainability, and community welfare.
So for the part 2 of the RA 7076 People's Small Scale Mining Act, first is the successful implementations. We have cited 2. First is the Dinagat Island Small Scale Mining Program, which was successfully implemented by the DENR and its local government unit. This program aimed to regulate small-scale miners operating in Dinagat Island by enforcing RA 7076 guidelines, such as creating Minahang Bayan, or people's mining areas, where legal small-scale mining can occur. This effort improved environmental compliance, reduced illegal mining, and provided livelihood opportunities to the community. Second is the Compostela Valley Minahang Bayan program. Also was implemented by the DNR in partnership with the Compostela Valley LGUs. This initiative formally designated several Minahangbayan areas to regulate small-scale gold mining operations. It also included training on safe mining practices, proper waste management, and mercury reduction, thereby ensuring better compliance with environmental standards while sustaining livelihoods. For the notable violations, we have noted two. First is the illegal gold mining in Paracal, Camarines Norte. This was spotted by the LGU and the DNR, which Paracal has been plagued by illegal small scale gold mining that bypasses RA 7076 guidelines, such that failing it has failed to secure Minahangbayan accreditation. This led to unregulated mining practices, hazardous working conditions, tunnel collapses, and significant environmental damage, including the destruction of river systems due to siltation and mercury contamination. Second, the illegal small-scale mining in Mount Diwalwal, Compostela Valley, Davao de Oro, also was implemented by DNR. Uh, Despite RA 7076, illegal small-scale mining flourished in Mount Diwalwal. Many miners operated without permits, violated safety and environmental regulations, used mercury in processing gold, endangering both miners and the surrounding system. The lack of enforcement of the Minahangbayan framework led to deforestation, water contamination, and health risks in the community. Given that, the findings we have found first is for the physical environment or the natural resources and pollution. Notably, in Nueva Vizcaya, Minahangbayan, compliance with Section 12 of RA 7076 reduced river siltation, deforestation, and mercury pollution by mandating environmentally sound practices. Second, for the socio-economic environment or livelihood and economy, Section 15 ensures fair wages, regulated operations, and sustainable livelihood for small-scale miners. For example, in Camarines Norte, the Minahang Bayan provided miners with formal jobs, fair pay, and contributions to local revenue. For the health and safety environment, or public health and worker safety, Section 15 also mandates safety protocols and training to protect miners' health in legal Minahang Bayan sites. Compliance with this provision helped prevent mining-related illness and accidents by promoting safe practices. In contrast, unregulated operations in Mount Diwalwal led to mercury poisoning, respiratory diseases, and fatal tunnel collapses. This highlights that enforcing RA 7076 reduces health risk and fatalities while violation min- violations endanger miners' lives. For the political and institutional environment, or law enforcement and governance, Section 24 enforces penalties for illegal mining, strengthening governance and ensuring accountability. For example, in Nueva Vizcaya and Camarines Norte, strict enforcement improved compliance and public trust. However, weak enforcement in Mount de Walwal allowed corruption, illegal mining, and governance breakdown. This demonstrates that strong enforcement upholds legal mining operations and accountability, while weak enforcement enables lawless and environmental degradation. The contrasting outcomes from the implementations and violations highlight the importance of enforcing RA 7076 in relation to four components of the environment. In Barangay Gamaus, Parakel, the successful implementation of Minahang Bayan reduced through legal and regulated mining by adhering to provisions such as Section 12, which mandates eco-friendly practices, and Section 15, which emphasizes miners' rights and responsibilities. The initiative minimized occupational hazards and strengthened governance and community trust. In contrast, illegal mining in Mount Diwalwal, driven by violations of Section 24, resulted in severe mercury pollution, deforestation, health risks, and weakened governance due to unregulated operations. These examples underscore the strict enforcement coupled with continuous monitoring, sustainable training, and active community engagement is essential to prevent illegal practices and ensure that small-scale mining contributes positively to the physical, socio-economic, health, and political environments, which all led to the enactment or the enforcement or the creation of RA 7076, or the Small Scale Mining Act.